First of all, let's take a quick look back at the year 2012. What do you consider the highlight of the year for you?
Well, look, there are a number of things that we've worked on, I'll say, diligently over the last 2 years. A couple of things stand out to me. Certainly, legislation that came through this session is very important on local governance and how we can ensure that we're more sustainable for the long term as a province. The first changes really are significant changes in 40 years, positive changes when it comes to taxation around that as well for the people of New Brunswick. Work that's gone on over the last year on things like pension reforms, again, which may not sound significant to some people, but again, for the sustainability of our province, both for taxpayers and very importantly for our employees and for pensioners. Very important changes, and we only have to look at what's been taking place in St. John to see the positive that can come out of that in the long term. The work that we've been doing on natural resource development in New Brunswick and some of the hope that we see out there for turning our economy around, I think is very important news as well, both when it comes to developing our natural gas resources and the reports that have come back to government and recommendations we'll be bringing forward with a new blueprint for natural gas development in the spring. Very importantly, though, the potential that is there with the pipeline from Alberta to St. John and what that could mean for St. John and all of New Brunswick for economic development opportunities in the future.
Speaking of that pipeline, are you as a government prepared to put some money into it to help entice the private sector to extend the pipeline into New Brunswick?
Look, one of the real positive things thus far, the first thing to realize is there has to be a business case. And that is work that is going on right now by companies who would operate, if you want to call it operate the pipeline, companies like TransCanada or Enbridge as examples, and the producers, the companies in Alberta that produce the oil. This is the work that they are doing. There's been no ask from government for subsidies. It's important to realize when Minister Oliver was in St. John over about a week to a week and a half ago, when he was talking about what the federal government can do from a regulatory perspective, what the province can do from a regulatory perspective, is to see open, transparent regulatory processes that are allow projects to move forward in a responsible way, but in a timely way. So those are the types of things that I see our roles that we can play, and the work that we're doing to promote the opportunity, reaching out to fellow premiers across the country is really important work that we're involved with as well.
Let's talk about the natural gas, the shale gas exploration for a moment. You are moving on that. We should have a clearer vision, I guess, sometime early in the new year's to regulations and what have you. But do you feel that perhaps the process has taken too long with the glut of shale gas on the market now, that perhaps the anticipated economic benefits might be dampened a bit?
Actually, I believe the time that we've taken is important time for New Brunswickers to be able to know and understand what the opportunity could be, for us to understand what the risks are as well, which I think is something that was a necessary part of the process. That's why we're going to be coming forward with the blueprint in the spring before there's any further exploration work done. The first thing we need to know and understand is what are the amounts of gas that are under our feet. We also need to know whether it can be extracted in a safe and responsible way. So that's the first stage that's been going on, and because the prices are low, that has given us that time to be able to ensure that we put in place the regulatory system that's important, that we have the royalty system right for New Brunswickers as well. and that we can ensure that we have the right monitoring of that for the long term. So I think, if anything, it's given us the time that we need to maybe be able to make right decisions. We have a wonderful facility in St. John in the LNG, and I know there's been some discussion that the LNG could become a turnaround where it would become an export facility instead of an import facility. And we know that, as an example, world prices in Europe or in Asia are much higher. So if there is a long-term supply of natural gas, it could be huge benefits for us as a province. We also know as well that our industry in New Brunswick could benefit very significantly from a competitiveness advantage for access to natural gas. On the energy front, electricity front as well, access to natural gas is great for New Brunswick. So there's lots of benefits why we believe it makes sense to continue in a prudent way to develop the industry.
But it's still a very controversial issue. Are you concerned that it could become to your government what the MB Power sale became to the Graham government?
Look, the first thing, there's a big difference between MB Power and developing natural gas and our natural resources. Sean Graham, when he ran as a government, he very clearly was against the sale of MB Power. MB Power and selling it to Quebec was never raised with the people of New Brunswick. He had no mandate to do it as part of a government or a party before the election. One of our platform commitments is that we were committed to developing natural gas in a safe and responsible way. And that is the work that we've been doing to ensure that we're able to do that with New Brunswick. I fully understand, though, there are people that disagree. And no matter what the government, there will always be decisions that you take that some people agree with, some people don't. What I would put back to New Brunswickers, number one, we can only develop it if we can do it in a safe and responsible way. That's got to be baseline, and the work that Dr. Lapierre and Dr. Cleary have done have demonstrated the types of things that we need to put in place to be able to move the sector forward. At the same time, I think if you were to go to the people of New Brunswick and specifically say, would you prefer to have your children working in New Brunswick instead of working in the very same sector in Alberta or in Saskatchewan or in British Columbia, I think most people would say we want our young people here. And this is a great opportunity to have New Brunswickers working in New Brunswick, creating prosperity and wealth in New Brunswick, so we can continue to provide the education that our children need, so that we can continue to provide the health care that New Brunswickers need, or even care for our seniors who are disabled. So that's, it's about making responsible choices, and that's what we're working to do.
Speaking of the economy, most of the forecasts going into 2013 are looking at pretty much a soft recovery continuing or stagnating a bit. It's volatile for sure as far as the markets are concerned. Beyond shale gas and natural resource development, what sort of blueprint do you have for job creation in riding out the economic storm?
Sure, and really good question. And actually, I think we're all watching very closely what takes place in the U.S. over the next couple of weeks, and what the impacts of whether or not the U.S. is able to come to an agreement on their fiscal situation, and what that could mean for us. So we're certainly watching that very closely. We need to realize how closely New Brunswick is tied to the U.S. economy, and over 80% of what we produce, we export. We're a small province when it comes to population, so our economy is very based significantly on export markets. So when the U.S. is hurting, That has a big impact on us. 85% of what we export actually goes to the U.S. So, seeing where things go with those markets, the importance of diversifying our markets. That's why I led a delegation to China, looking to be able to find new markets to export our products to. That's why we're certainly engaged with the federal government and other provinces in the negotiations on an agreement with Europe to open up economic opportunities in New Brunswick, as an example, which within the fishing industry, where there could be very significant benefits. We've come forward over the last year in a strategy on focusing in on 6 key sectors. So we talk a lot about natural resource developments. We've talked about a revitalized forestry sector, and there's some positive signs with within the building and construction areas in the U.S. to see some of that start to rebound, and some of the decisions that we have made to ensure that companies like the pulp mill and paper mills in St. John can be strong. Above and beyond that, with natural resources, the potential of the pipeline, the natural gas, and the mining opportunities that exist in New Brunswick. Outside of natural gas, there's a lot of work going on in the defense and aerospace sectors, and we hear a lot of the opportunity that exists with the Nova Scotia shipbuilding contracts with the Irving family. New Brunswick companies are getting ready to be able to participate in that. We've seen a company in a gentleman, Barry Kyle, from the Bathurst area, that's won a very significant contract, over $100 million in land-based retrofitting of military equipment. And we see more opportunity for that coming to New Brunswick. A revitalized ICT sector in New Brunswick, and St. John is certainly a central part of that. Those opportunities. Right now, there are more than 700 jobs not filled in the ICT sector in New Brunswick because the right skill sets aren't there. So there's a lot of work going on in that. We've just announced a new innovation strategy for the province, working very closely with the private sector and academia. And in the coming weeks and months, we'll be rolling out the strategy which will allow companies to really look to the future on how we can strategically improve our economic competitiveness in the province. We're doing a lot of work with industrial fabrication, and we see companies like Sunny Corner Mechanical, companies like Industrial Fabrication in the Miramichi, work going on up in the Beldoon area, connecting with major mega projects in Newfoundland, Labrador, northern Quebec, and places like Nunavut. So there are lots of reasons why I'm optimistic about the future. Is it a difficult time? Absolutely. But there are strategies in place to, again, continue to move the province forward.
Finance Minister Blaine Higgs is about to begin some public consultations preparing for the budget in the spring. First of all, as an individual, can we expect tax increases?
Too early to know where things will be at, and that's part of Minister Higgs's work that he'll be doing between now and the spring. What I can say is, we've focused very significantly on being as efficient as we can, getting our spending under control. It is clear that we've got real revenue problems in New Brunswick. We've seen with the second quarter a reduction in revenue by over $100 million. The same thing is happening with the federal government. The same thing is happening with other provinces across the country. That raises concerns. We're focused on reducing our expenditures. We were, for the first time in more than a decade, we actually saw a reduction in spending year over year this past year. So we're demonstrating I believe that we can manage effectively. The Fraser Institute just recognized the work that we are doing collectively as a province from a fiscal management perspective, but I am concerned about the gaps that are there, and that's work that we're doing now with departments and with the people.
On the healthcare front, and that's certainly going to be a focus. It takes up a large chunk of the budget. But can you assure New Brunswickers you can find efficiencies without cutting services and frontline workers?
What I can say is the work that we're doing now through the Office of Health Renewal, and that's with Reno Volpe and John McGarry. They've been working now for months. What I can ensure New Brunswickers is that the services that people need, the services will be there. And in fact, what we're doing is actually working to improve access to health care in New Brunswick. The work that we've been doing with the Medical Society and other health care professionals to renew access to primary health care. So ensuring that people have access to family doctors. The work that we're doing on chronic illnesses like diabetes, on mental health. Those what we're trying to do is find savings in the system where we believe that we can make changes without having a negative impact on direct service to people, and actually improve service, but at the same time invest in strategic priorities. We're talking about prescription drugs and access to catastrophic coverage. Again, we've been doing the work that we need to be able to do to present a program, a Made in New Brunswick program, to New Brunswickers. But again, what we need to be able to do is reinvest some of the money we're already spending within the system into things that are really priorities for New Brunswickers.